Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Today we're going to work with the Ciitrus Bloom collection, and when I say the collection, it is going to be with the stamp set, the dies, and the designer series paper. And then the designer series paper is called Mediterranean Blooms, and it is a gorgeous pack of paper. I'm also going to bring in the nested essential dies for my sentiment. And we're going to use some of this ribbon that is the glittered ribbon, and it was from the it's Night of Navy and Gold. And if you remember this was carried over from last year's Holy Night that was in the last year's Christmas catalog. So, and it goes beautifully with this, as you can see in this card. And this is what we're going to be making. Isn't that gorgeous? I do want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to put a white background behind this to make this a little bit stiffer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out from the designer series paper, and then I'm also going to cut another piece out of white or maybe even navy. I might do it in the navy. I think that'd be really pretty. And that way it'll look like it's just an extension of the side flap of the card. All right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move some stuff out of my way first. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and cut out my piece that I want to go in my card. So the pieces that I want is going to be this piece and this one right here. So I'm going to do it a little bit different than I did the other one. So in order to do that, I'm just going to do a rough cut around this orange. And I'm going to cut up. I'm going to grab that single orange as well. And the reason I'm cutting these out because the dies will cut these pieces out for you. And I mean, how wonderful is that? So these are going to be the two that I'm going to use. And I'm going to show you the cardstock that I chose. I have a piece of Night of Navy. And this is a half a sheet of regular 8.5 by 11. So it measures 8.5 this way, 5.5 this way, and we're going to put that in our scoreboard and score it at 4.25 to give us a typical A2 size card. So I'm going to bring up my Simply Scored scoring tool, and I'm going to lay that in, and I'm going to come here at 4 1/4 and just come straight down like that. Now, if you hold your stylus or your crease tool down low rather than up like this, you stand a better chance of not jumping the track. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're scoring. If you have trouble with it jumping, just try lowering your hand closer to your scoreboard. All right, we'll put that away. And now we're just going to fold this in half and give it a good crease. Now I see a lot of demonstrators and a lot of card makers that don't even use a scoreboard when they're making a simple card like this. They'll just fold it in half. I like the crispness that I get from using a scoring tool to draw that line. And then I always have a nice even card all the way around. See how nice and even that looks? That's why I like to do that. Now we're going to do a couple of things on the front of our card, and I cut a piece of the floral, and this has like the little orange blossoms on it and the green leaves, and this piece is 2 by 5 1/4. All of the measurements will be on my blog, so all you have to do is go there to get everything you need. Oh, I got to score one other place. I just got ahead of myself. We are going to score at hang on, let me measure. We are going to score at 1 1/4. And I totally forgot to do that. I am so sorry. So you're going to score at 1 1/4 and 4 1/4. So 1 1/4. There we go. I knew as soon as I took that off and got ready to put my paper down, I did not have that correct. So, okay, then we're going to fold that back like that. And good idea to give it a good burnish, just so it'll lay nice and flat. Now we're going to be gluing that down, but not right this minute. We want to put our designer series paper, and that's where this piece is going to come in. And what we want to do is keep the border about a 1/8 border, top, bottom, and left side. And you can see how that's going to come over and cover that raw edge, and that's what you want. So let's go ahead and put this piece down, and I'm just going to use some liquid glue. Now, if you have one of these glue presses, every now and then you have to take the top off of the glue. You have to kind of burp it, and you have to clean your hole out with a fine tip pen. So I did that a little bit earlier with mine, and now it's flowing really well, and I'm not having any issues with it. All right, so I am going to make sure that my border is nice and even, and I'm going to use my bone folder. I like to call this my dry iron, and I like to iron out anything that I use liquid glue on, because that way I just make sure that it's good and adhered. I don't want my pieces, flying up. So now for this piece, I'm going to glue this down like that. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal for that. And I'm just going to run a strip of Stampin' Seal down the side, and maybe one just a little bit along there like that. And then all we have to do is fold that over and give it a press. And then I cut 2 pieces of this, and this is 1 inch by 5 1/4. And you want to cut 2 of them the same. And when you cut your paper, if you run your finger across it, you can feel where the blade cut into it. And when you feel that, if you want it to lay flat and not have that little curled edge on it, just take your bone folder and go over it. Your bone folder acts more than just something to give you a crease. It also helps your paper lay nice and flat. And we're going to take one of those, and it's going to go on right like this. That's going to give us one. And then we're going to take the other one and lay it right here in this area. And see how pretty those look? They look like everything's framed and bordered. I love it. So I'm going to, and look at the back of that. I thought about doing a green card with the mossy meadow or old olive, and then using this on it. I think it would be gorgeous. So we might do one like that. So I put glue on that, and then I'm going to bring it in and very carefully lay it down, making sure that my borders are nice and even, and then give it a press. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just load it up with some glue. Lay it down. Just like that, and press it. Then when you open your card, in here, we are going to do a piece of white. And this piece measures 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this piece is going to go, we're going to center it up right inside like that. But I'm not ready to put that down yet, because we're going to work on the front of our card next. And to do that, we're going to grab out our Ciitrus Bloom dies. And let's take that big one. And I think we'll fussy cut that other piece. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe this one will cut that one. Let's see if that'll cut that other flower or orange. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That'll cut that one too. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around this one. Just like this. Just so I can get them both out of that pack or out of the sheet of paper. And I got a little bit of paper that was still inside of that one, so I just tapped it so it would come out. Get that in the trash. And now I want to go ahead and center this over top of my image. Get everything lined up just like I want it. And then I'm going to take my Post-it flags. I love these. I love them for two reasons. One is you have a handle. One is they come in this beautiful little packaging like this that sticks to your desk so you can pull them out with one hand and you don't have to worry about tearing tape. These are listed in my online store, and I'll make sure that I highlight these in my PDF tutorial with a link where you can go and get those. They are the best. They never tear my paper, and you can use them over and over. So I have a bunch of them stuck over here on my die cut machine, and I just use these over and over, but I love them for that reason. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Let's put it down, get everything lined up perfectly, or as perfect as we can. You know, we're human and we're not perfect. So therefore, don't stress if your cards are not perfect. I guarantee you the person that gets your card will not see your imperfections unless you point them out. And unless they're a card maker, they probably would never notice them. All right. And I do send cards to card makers. So sometimes my cards are not perfect. They're far cry from it. But it's something I enjoy doing. So I will continue to make cards. I have a scrap piece of white. So I'm going to grab my Nested Essentials and I'm going to grab the one that is next to the smallest. And I'm going to put this right here. And I think I'm going to grab my shears. And if you're in the market for a good pair of long shears, I like long ones because you can come in and cut straight across something like that. These are great, and they're also listed on my online craft room favorites in my Amazon store. So you can go there and get those if you're interested. And this I don't have to worry about centering or anything because I haven't stamped it yet. So I'm just going to anchor that down like that. And I have a piece of Night of Navy that I'm going to use to cut that larger flower out. But let's grab our die cut machine and let's go ahead and get this in camera. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So here's the surface of my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And these are my plates. So I have a number 1 plate, which is like your platform. I have number 2, which is a die adapter plate. You'll always use that if you're die cutting. And then I have a very well-loved cut plate. And then I have a cover plate. So I'm going to lay as many of these on here as I can get. And we may be able to get them all on here. I think we can. And then I'm going to lay my cover plate over top and slide it up and then just start turning my handle. This thing cuts like butter. So easy to turn. There's hardly any resistance and very little popping at the end, depending on what you're die cutting. So I am going to pull these all off. I know everything is cut, so I'm just going to lay those over there. And I am going to flip my plates and store them so that they're ready again to go. And if you notice my cut plates, and I tell people this all the time because I get new subscribers. If you look at my plates, they are not warped, and you can see how much I've used it. I have used and used. The secret behind this, and it took me a lot of research and a lot of trial and error to learn this, but I only flip my bottom plate when it starts to bow. And what I mean by bowing, if it has, see how that's got spring in it? As soon as I notice that little bit of spring, I immediately flip this one over. The cover plate I flip every time I die cut. So I always have a fresh plate, and this will keep your plates from warping. They will last you. I've used plates until they literally fell apart. I still got to cut one more thing. That's what I do. What happens when I'm running my mouth. I think what I'm doing. So I'm going to put that piece of Night of Navy because remember I said I wanted to cut the large piece to put a backing on it. So we are going to pull this out of the die. And I'm going to lay this down. Get the cardstock out of it. There we go. I'm going to lay that down like that. And go ahead and put that in just like that. And then we are going to crank this through. And now this piece is done. So I'm going to flip. I had it like that, so I'm flipping this over. And then I'm going to store my plates in my little bin up here where I keep them. You can get that out of our way. And let's go ahead and pull this off. And we got this beautiful piece that we can put behind the this piece. And this is going to work out beautifully because it's going to give this strength, and it's also going to give this stability, which is what we're looking for. So it looks like that cut that off just a little bit right there, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to keep going. I always say just roll with it. So this other piece that I cut, this little piece here, I'll pull my sticky notes. See how easy they pull off? They don't tear or anything. They are so super great. So I'm going to throw that away. And then let's pull off our piece for our sentiment. And we finished all of our die cutting. All we have to do now is some stamping. So before we start assembling, I'm going to grab my Night of Navy. And I loaded up from the stamp set the little hello and just checking in. I thought this would be a great card to send to someone that you're just thinking about. Maybe you haven't heard from them in a while. Just let them know, hey, I'm checking in on you. I'm thinking about you and just want to make sure that everything is okay. So I'm going to bring this over to the middle. Let me zoom y'all back in a little bit. And then I'm going to stamp this just like that. Oh, there we go. Very pretty. So what we're going to do now on this inside piece, I want this little peach to come in from the top like that. And I want this to come in and just be flat in the card. So I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal and just put a little bit all over the back of this. And then I'm going to position it up in the top corner. Like that. And we could put a little thinking of you, or you could write a little note here and have a place to sign it. So this one is ready to go in. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue again and load that up with some glue. And then I'm going to lay this in, and I'm using my piece that's over here on the right-hand side for the bottom with the way you're looking at it. And use that as a guideline for my piece. So there we go. So now I want to make sure that I get this right where I want it, and I think right there would be perfect. I'm going to bring my oranges in. I think I may snip just a tiny bit like that. And I want this to be right about like that. Now let's bring that down a little bit more. Making sure that nothing is hanging over at the top because you want this to fit in your envelope. So I'm going to take some glue, and I'll put glue on this piece. And I'm just going to run a little bit of glue all over it. Put that little stem. Like that. And then I'm going to lay this piece on top. And with me using the liquid glue, it's going to give me just that little bit of wiggle room I need to get this lined up, hopefully. Oh, it's setting up fast. Let's try that again. I'm going to line the stem and then the leaves. Just like that. Give it a good press. See, this is just going to give us a lot more stability when we put this piece on. And I think what I might do to camouflage that little leaf is bring that right there and tuck this under there. And then that little leaf that was cut off won't even show. I think that'll work. Okay, so I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this because I do want it to have a little bit of dimension so that it'll look real pretty sitting up there on that card. So I'm going to take my regular size dimensionals. Let's see. I don't want any right there. So anywhere but where my thumb's at. That's usually how I do. I'll lay my thumb down and I'll know that I don't want any to go where my thumb's at. That's just a good, here we go, rule of thumb. Play on words, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on like so. I love these colors together. And Stampin' Up! Did a wonderful job in designing this paper and this set. Okay, I think that may be sufficient. So I'm going to take my scissors and just kind of pluck these off. You can use take your pick tool, anything that's got a little sharp edge to it. And when you see all of the shiny, you'll know that you got them all off. So I'm going to take this and put it like that. I think that would be just about perfect, just like that. Now for this, I think I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals as well. And I'm going to do them right through the middle because I know that top is going to lay over top of those leaves. So I'm just going to put 3 right through the middle. And put that right about here. I think we might be able to bring these over. Stick that right under there, just like that. And then those little leaves are hanging over, and I think that gives it that little something something. Now we need to take our ribbon, and I'm going to do a simple, I did a more frilly bow on the other one, but I'm going to do just a bunny ear bow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this on the spool, and I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to cross these over and bring this under through my loop. And because this has glitter on it, it doesn't slide as well as ribbon without glitter. if that makes any sense. Just doesn't want to slide as easy, but you can manipulate it. And there is our cute little bow. Now you will get some fallout from the glitter. So if you're one of those people that just does not care for glitter, you might not like this ribbon, but I think it's so pretty. It's worth it. So I'm going to cut off about to there. And I'm going to cut it at an angle. And I'm going to do the same thing right here. And then this bow is ready to go on just like that. So the favorite way to attach a bow is with glue dots. So I'm going to fold this back and expose my glue dot right there. And pick that up, just squish into it, it picks it right up. And then you can bring your bow and sit it down just like that. And then you have added a beautiful bow to the front of your card. And how adorable is that card? I love the way it turned out. I think it's an easy card to make. You saw it took no time at all. All of the measurements and everything can be found on my blog. My blog address is right here. You can also find it under the video, and all with a list of all of the products that I use. Go to the blog post, click on the link. Once you're there, just scroll down, and when you see the picture of this card, underneath there will be a link. We'll say click here for the free PDF tutorial. Click there and you'll get the printout for this card with all the measurements, all the products I used, along with the order numbers in case you're interested. So, and also you can go and browse my store. Stampin' Up! Has so many products out there, and we also have an entire suite of online exclusives that are not in the catalog. So check those out as well. God bless and keep you. Oh, and one more thing before you go. I'm getting ready to send up my mini catalog report, which means if your name is on that report, you will get a free catalog from me that Stampin' Up! Will mail out on my behalf. It will have my website on the back of it, my name, and that way you'll always have a way to reach out to get in touch with me. But of course, you can always reach out to me via my information here on my YouTubes, my emails, my blog, my Facebook group. So there's always so many different ways to reach out and get in touch with me. So if you're interested in a catalog and you have not placed an order with me in the last year, please, please, please send me your name, your full mailing address, and I will add you to that list so that you will receive your copy of the free mini catalog that will premiere in September. And that is our fall and Christmas catalog. So everybody always loves the Christmas catalog because we make more Christmas cards than we do any other kind, because everybody wants to make a Christmas card. Okay, enough about that. I just want to thank you sincerely for being here, for watching one more tutorial of mine, and always supporting me and my channel. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring honor and glory to our Savior. He is worthy. Until next time, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.